Okay, guys, warning, this video may seem very boring, very dry. It's critical, but I'll try to make it as fun as possible. But this is critical when it comes to actually using spreadsheets, moving across. It actually makes things more efficient when working in spreadsheets. So here, let's actually bring up real life example here of our spreadsheet here. Okay, as soon as it loads. Okay, so if you notice, because time of day, let's say you're on the East Coast and you're calling after work, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night. It doesn't make sense to call companies on the East Coast because a lot of them are closed. You're going to want to call Pacific time. But let's say you're calling early in the morning on the East Coast. You're going to want to call East Coast. You want to call when businesses are open. So for me, I call throughout the day up until like 7, 8 o'clock. So I'll switch between East Coast and West Coast. So you have your scrubbing list, you have your POC list, future callbacks, and demos booked. And then obviously the pipeline. But for these purposes here, demos booked. So you start with the scrubbing calls here. And I'm not using this one anymore. The columns, company name, company phone number, very easy. Date last called, disposition, the POC, notes, and email. This will be typically blank when you start. So it's very quickly. So let's say here we're calling today. This is 26. Right here, you're ring. You're going through. You identify who the POC is. No, let's go to software. Right here, see like right here, 726. Right here in notes, but right here, you're calling. They say John Smith. I just put if they're HR, if they're owner, whatever they are. Notes maybe, and disposition. VM voicemail, no voicemail, not in. Or let's say it's called back at a future date. They're on vacation. They get back on August 6th. Call back 8/6, right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut this, and then you're going to paste it on the POC list right here. So that way they're off the scrubbing list. So we go ahead and you cut, and then you paste them on the POC list. Paste. Right there. And then that's all. Bam. Now let's say you have a really nice conversation with them, but they're like, oh, call me back January 1st or September 1st or whatever the hell. Then what I'm going to do is move them to the future callback tab. So they're not clogging my POC list, but, call back. So I'll check this every month. So like the way in July when I'm calling, they say call me back anytime after August 1st, put them here, and then come in August, anything that's called back in August, I'll move it to the POC list again. Right there. And then in the notes, keep track of, your conversation with them. And then I just put callback, like this callback August 7th, callback the 30th, callback the 6th, right there. So then I won't call them back beforehand, but they stay on the list. I'd say anything beyond 30 days out, move it to the future callback list. So that way, because the reason why you want it on a separate list is, let's say you have like 30 or let's just use an example here. I have 45 on future callback lists. My POC list size is going to be a little bit deceiving. I'm going to have 45 more, and I'm thinking, oh, I have plenty to call when I don't. So I want to keep my POC list of ones calls I actually could make there. So that's how you do it. You just cut and paste it to the different tab, and that's how you go. So as you're making scrubbing calls right here, you just cut, paste. Let's say they say they're not interested. Right there, I make a note of the reason why, because some not interested may be worth revisiting. Other ones, like, oh, they only have 5. This one's clueless. Pretty happy with what they have. That might be worth a callback when I revisit when I look through the non-interest. It's like 6 months, a year from now. No turnover. That's going to change. Right here, they use Gallup. May call back next year. This one's called back in Q1, right there. So that's really, to make it efficient. And how you do that is you just do different tabs. Whether you're working in Excel or Google Spreadsheets, either one is fine. And then you just make a tab. So you have your scrubbing. Let's actually do it from the beginning here. So you have your list. New sheet. Whenever it loads. So you have your rename, you have your scrubbing list here. Then you have your rename, future callbacks. Then you have your POCs. Then you have your POCs. Then you have your no response. Then you have your not interested. So that's how you're doing it right there. Scrubbing calls will go to not interested, POCs, or future callbacks. Oh, forgot one, guys. Demos booked. Right there. So scrubbing calls will go to most likely POCs, future callbacks, non-interested, demos booked. Now, when you're on POCs, then you need your columns here. You're going to have like company name, phone number, then you're going to have last date called, then you're going to have POC, then you're going to have notes, email. If I do email them, like here, email sent date, I'll put the email sent date here so I can keep track, and then you have the other stuff like here, like city, state, zip, right there. And then you want to have all the columns all the same in all these so you can easily cut and paste. Unless you're like Barry, and then he likes to add a special column to the pipeline, and then it makes it a mess. But that's okay, because he manages all the pipeline and closing the deals. I just get him the demos and go from there. So that's what you're doing. Now, a couple of key things. When you're calling POCs, you want to call the same set of POCs every day for 5 or 6 days in a row. 4 to 6 days in a row. You don't want to go through, let's say you're making 15 calls a day and you have a list of 30. You don't want to call these 15 day 1, these 15 day 2. You want to just start at the top of the list every day and go down the list. Why? Because when you reach out to them, when you're leaving voicemails and they hear your name, more than likely in a short period of time, it's going to increase the chance of the success of connecting with them versus you would call them once a week. They're going to know that you're calling and calling and calling, which is awesome. So you want to POCs, you want to call every day in a row for 4 to 6 times. You could actually make it 10 times in a row. That's fine. It usually takes about 7 to 10 attempts to get in touch with someone on average. Me personally, I do about 4 to 5 attempts. Unless it's an owner, then I'll do 7 to 10 attempts on that. And then, so the POCs, it's very easy. As you can see here, it's very easy when you're going down. VM times 4. That means the fourth attempt, VM times 3 or whatever. So that way it's the third email, the fourth email, the fifth email. So then whatever that number is, once it reaches times 5, times 6, times 7, you move them to the no response. The reason why you don't want to delete them is because you're probably going to want to go back and revisit these 6 months, a year down the road. So keep them there. No response right there. So yeah, that's pretty much the process, guys. And what you're going to want to do is let's actually write this out. So when I'm doing scrubbing calls, I just call it once and go down the list. If no human picks up and it doesn't go anywhere, I just move on. Because because I want to call companies where humans pick up. Now, if a human doesn't pick up, it's an automated voice. So I always just press 0. Sometimes I'll listen because sometimes when they're going through the thing, they like press 6 for HR. Okay, that's easy. 6, done. I still treat them like the gatekeeper, asking them who the best person in HR, are they the best person in HR to speak to about employee engagement and leadership development, because 9 times out of 10 they go, no, that's my boss, and then you get to the right person pretty quickly. So scrubbing calls, 1 attempt. POCs, you're going to want to call anywhere from 4 to 6 times. And then and then they'll go 4 to 6 times. They will go to the in our list. If they if when you connect with them, they're either going to future callback, they're going to go to not interested, or they're going to go to demos booked. It's that simple, guys. So when you're managing a spreadsheet on that, you're actively doing it, and it goes really quickly, because it's just going to be like, bam, okay, 726. Oh, I left out one. Disposition. 6. Okay, no one picked up. Okay, 726. Someone picked up. It said Jeff Honky Tonk. Is that he's in HR? Okay, bam, he didn't pick up. VM. Okay, 726. No voicemail. That 726. Dave, he's owner. He's not in, so I didn't leave a voicemail. Then 726. Spam. Right here. Sue left her voicemail. 726. Whatever the hell. And then what I do, bam, cut. The POCs right there. Right there. I'm just going to delete that. Cut. POCs right here. Paste, scrub. I'm just going to copy this. And then what I like to do is I just delete the blank rows right here. POCs right here. And now I have my POC list. I'm dialing through. Jeff's not there. Bam, VM times 2. Dave's not in again. Sue picks up. Go through. She said yes to Q1. But she wants an email sent. So I go ahead and send her 718 or 726 email. Blah 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 blah. Email sent. And I usually give it about a week. So August 2nd, I think, is next Thursday. Yeah. Bam. And then the next one, Roger, he picks up. Demo booked. 8/3, 3 p.m. Done, and I move him to the demos book tab, or the not interested if you're not interested, or And then let's say moving on, later down the road, VN times 5. I'm going to go ahead and move him to the no response tab. Done. That's it. It's very simple. It goes quick. And you could do copy and pasting while you're downloading the next number. It's that easy. But that's pretty much the process. So what you're going to want to do is build up your POC list. It's going to take a couple of scrubbing days, some scrubbing time. Build that list up, call that list. Once it starts dropping down, mark scrubbing calls, build it back up, dropping down, and as it's dwindling down, demos are going to spit out. That's it. And then after the 60-day sales cycle completes, deals will start coming out. And it's just a matter of maintaining that workday profile. Consistent inputs will yield consistent outputs. Inconsistent inputs, just like teaching a pig to sing, it'll annoy you and frustrate the pig. Now, some days come up where life gets in the way. Well, hey, life got in the way, but instead of, oh man, if you're going to commit to something, small daily action, 2-3 hours a day of consistent work. It's not, hey, I'm working, I'm checking Facebook and kind of work. No, on the phone time, dialing. You don't have to tell us you're working 10, 50, 80 hours. It doesn't matter. It's the inputs is what will yield the demos following the process. You build up your POC list, you call your POC list, demos come out, demos hold, deals will come out. Hey, you're running through some problems or can't figure out why you want to get better results, let's talk it out. We'll figure it out, what tweaks need to be made. Awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much managing that, and you can do it all in Google Drive. You don't need Excel, and it's that easy. Peace out.